Hey guys, welcome to Franklin Woodworks. It's time to get this thing finished. Well, almost. There's still a ton to do, lots of storage ideas that I'll eventually integrate into the design. But in this video, I'm going to get all the drawers installed and put on the drawer fronts, and generally get it ready for use. My normal plywood dealer was totally out of the plywood I've been using so far, and since I'm generally impatient, I bought the remaining plywood I needed from the Big Orange box store. The plywood isn't bad, but it's not pre-finished on one side like the other plywood was, so I put 3 coats of water-based poly on it before I started cutting everything to size. To make the drawers look as nice as possible, I'm going to cut the drawer fronts so that the grain of the wood flows from one drawer to the next. So as I cut each drawer front, I make sure to label it, noting which drawer it belongs to and which way the grain should be oriented. To install the drawer fronts, I use a countersink bit to drill my mounting holes from the front. I don't do a full countersink here, but just bump the face enough so that there isn't any tear out to keep the drawer front from seating flush against the drawer. Then from the back, I do a full countersink so the screws will be flush on the inside. For me, it's always easier to start at the bottom and work my way up when installing drawer fronts. But the first one is always the hardest. So I decided to skip the bottom drawer for now. I took a piece of scrap plywood and tacked it into place so that the top of the scrap piece represents where the top of the bottom drawer will go. That way, I can make sure the drawers will be even all the way across. I use a metal ruler that is 1/16 of an inch thick as a spacer, and I use thick CA glue to hold the drawer front in place until I get the screws in. Glue on one side, activator on the other, and it sets really fast. Once the first one is screwed in, I use the ruler as a spacer again and attach the next drawer front. Once it's time for the bottom drawer fronts, I remove the scrap and use the ruler and CA glue trick again. Instead of drawer pulls, I'm going to go simple and just use a hole as the pull. A rather dull 1 3/8 Forstner bit is the perfect size for my meat hooks. I go about 3/4 of the way through the front, then finish from the back so I don't have any tear out. I use a trim router with a roundover bit to smooth out the edges of the holes, and although I should have done this before I mounted the drawer fronts, I also give the edges of the drawers a roundover for a smooth, uniform look. One of the upper cabinets will be a dedicated charging station and storage for cordless tools, including my new cordless hot glue gun. I can't recommend this tool enough. So that's about it. I'll probably do a few more videos as I figure out ways to store things, but now it's time for me to clean the shop and get everything back in order. Come to think of it, it may be a while before I get out another video. But I hope you enjoyed this series, and hopefully you got some ideas for your shop. Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and there you go.